Hello, Ashley. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. You mentioned that you were doing just all right.
Yeah, I'm really, really nervous to be here.
What makes you nervous about
Um,
being here?
well, it took me a really long time to decide to reach out for therapy. So, like, I'm kind of really nervous about it. I don't want you to think I'm like crazy or anything, but I knew it was kind of time to come and get help.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you have shared that information and you decided to come and get help. And I'm trying to going to provide you with the best treatment as possible. What were signs that made you decide, like, hey, I need therapy?
Well, I haven't been sleeping. I've been going on about 3 or 4 hours of sleep at night. So I'm tired all the time. And I've been noticing that now because I'm tired all the time, I don't have any patience for anybody. Like, if you don't get what I'm saying right away, I'm going to get very short with you. So it's starting to affect relationships and friendships because I don't tell people what I'm going through, and I'm just ending up snapping at them basically.
And how does that make you feel that you just noticed this?
I I don't like it, and I don't know like why all of a sudden it just got a whole lot worse. Um, and I feel bad that I snap at like my friends or my boyfriend, but it just like it all just builds up until I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm done. I can't do anything else right now.
Okay. And do you have any coping skills that you use when you say you're all done?
Um, Unfortunately, my coping skills is kind of just pulling into myself. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm probably just going to go to bed and lay there until I can finally fall asleep, which takes like 2 to 3 hours for me to fall asleep.
And what are your thoughts when you're laying there? What are you thinking about?
Mostly everything that I have to get done. So I work full time. So I'm always thinking about like what I have to do at work. Like I have to get this done. We have to talk about this. I have this meeting. And I go to school. So I'm thinking about, oh, I have this project coming up. I got to meet with my classmates about this project. So it's just thinking about my to do list in my head and then thinking about, oh, I got to go grocery shopping too. Oh, I need to pick up the medicine for the dog. And it's just replaying all these things that I have to do until it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, oh, I haven't even slept yet.
Wow, well, it seems like you do have a lot on your plate, and I can see how that can cause you to just keep thinking and going and seeing how you're going to get things done on top of feeling um, overwhelmed, would you say?
Yeah, very overwhelmed. Like all the to-do lists constantly keep me overwhelmed. And then on top of that, I'm just tired like all the time. Like my brain just does not want to shut off. It just keeps going and going and going.
Just like, how can I get something done when I'm so anxious and I'm just okay. That's nice. That's nice to know. Tell me about your day. How was your day today?
Today wasn't horrible. I was actually off from work, but I know my coworker was left alone at work. So then I'm thinking about, oh, I should probably just go in and help her so she doesn't have to struggle alone. So I woke up 6 o'clock this morning thinking, oh, you should just go to work anyway. But I didn't. I stayed home. And even though I told myself I wasn't going to do anything, I ended up cleaning my entire house. So I just literally can't sit still and just be for a moment. I always have to be doing something because my brain is just like always pushing me to go do something.
Did you feel like cleaning the house may have took your mind off of what's going on at work?
Yeah, for a little bit, but then it kind of added its new stresses like, oh, I have to go get Clorox for the bathtub. Oh, I have to go pick this up at the store. Oh, I have to clean this and organize this. So it's just like whatever I do, it just seems like it adds more and more. And I'm just like, why can't I just be like happy with the way things are and just stay in the moment and just worry about what I'm doing right now?
Okay. So it just seemed like a lot is going on, like one thing after another after another. And when you do try to finally relax, it's just like, oh, I got to do this. So what about that?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, I feel like when I try to explain like why I can't sit still, people are like, you're overreacting. Like, just sit there, just don't do anything. I'm like, I can't just not do anything. Like, that's not who I am. I have to keep busy. So it's just also kind of isolating because I can't talk to anybody about it because they just think I'm overreacting.
So how does it feel when someone is telling you, hey, you're overreacting? It's not that big of a deal.
I get very angry. Like my boyfriend will say, he's like, you're just overreacting. Like, the house isn't that messy. It doesn't have to be cleaned right now. And then like I try to explain it, but I get so frustrated with not being able to find the words for it that we end up getting in a fight over it. And that's not something I want to do because we're fighting over something very stupid, like, oh, I have to vacuum the carpet. There's dog hair on it. And he's like, does it really need to be done today, like right now? So it is very frustrating, and I don't like getting angry over these feelings because I know it's kind of unrealistic, but I just can't control the just need to get things done and just keep getting things done.
It's like the feelings are uncontrollable. And it makes it a little harder when you try to explain to someone how you're feeling and they're just like brushing it off.
Yeah, I don't like feeling brushed off. Like, I do feel this way, although I don't want to feel this way. It just, I do, and I need somebody to understand. Like, boyfriend doesn't understand, friends, family doesn't understand, so it's just isolating. So then I'm just like, well, then I just won't tell anybody about it, and I'll just keep doing it on my own.
So, how does that make you feel on the inside when you feel like nobody's listening to you or they're making it seem like you're crazy?
Um, Kind of like, oh, here we go again, because like I have tried to tell people about it, and I'm always met with kind of the same thing, like, oh, you're just overthinking. Like, you can relax. Like, you don't have to go do that. So again, it is very isolating because you feel like people don't understand you, and for friends and family not to understand you, like, it's kind of sad almost because you're like, well, then who am I supposed to turn to if I don't have family or friends that understand?
And I can see how that can make you frustrated because you kind of depend on your family and friends to be able to express these things without being judged or feel like you're being brushed off. So I can see how that makes you feel a bit frustrated and want to isolate yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just serves to be better. I don't get angry at people. People don't get angry at me. So it doesn't rock the boat if I just keep things to myself.
I can see how that can be hard. No one wants to keep things all bottled up because when you keep things all bottled up, you do explode. And
Mhm.
that's not what you want to do with family and friends. So I can understand how that makes you isolated, want to isolate yourself from others.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you isolate yourself from others, what do you do?
I'm usually doing my list anyway. Like, if they don't want to help me with the list, I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do it myself. So I'm just like finding different items that I have to do one by one. Or I just like completely isolate, and like I said, I'll try to go to sleep, but I end up just being with my thoughts. So, I mean, part of the isolation is, I guess, kind of my fault, but I mean, it's served its purpose to this point. But I've noticed in the more recent months, it's getting more and more that I'm alone by choice. And I'm like, I don't want to be alone. I want to be able to talk to people and explain to people what I'm going through. It's just, I haven't been able to find the words for it.
You mentioned that the isolation is by choice. Do you really think it's by choice, or do you just really feel like you guys are pushing me to isolate myself? Do you think it's your fault?
Um, I feel like at first it was my fault because I'm not able to explain how I'm feeling. And then I get the reaction like, you're just overreacting. So when you hear that so many times, you're just like, then why am I even going to try? So it was my choice to stop reaching out to people. But when you're turned away so many times, you're just like, there's no point in trying anymore. And it's exhausting trying to explain to people what's running through your mind when you just can't put a word or a name on it.
Okay. I want to circle back around to something you said earlier. You said you make a list. Um, when you make this list, does it make you feel better when you accomplish the things that's on your list?
Um, yes and no. I get kind of overwhelmed when I write down and like put into a physical form everything I have to do. So it's very overwhelming at first, but then when I can slowly start checking things off, it does make me feel better. And like on the days that I can write a list and check things off, like I feel like I can go to sleep a lot better because now I like documented I did do those things, I did accomplish something today. So my brain, I guess, can relax a little bit more. Like my whole body can just like relax and I can finally go to sleep.
And how does that make you feel when you feel like you can just relax and you can actually sleep without so much going on?
Those are like the best days because like I literally can feel my whole body just like relax, and like I feel sore from like just moving all day and being tight all day, and then like you have that sensation of just instant relief. And like I really like strive for those days. That's why I try to make lists as often as I can. So I always go for that feeling, but it's hard because life just wants to get in the way and throw new things at you that you have to get done.
So, what stops you from making the list on a daily basis?
Um, Time mostly. Because I go to sleep so late at night, I find myself waking up like just in time to go to work. And then by the time I get to the work, I'm like hitting the ground running. Like there's no time to stop. We got these things to do. And I'm literally working till I leave. I drive home and sit in traffic, so I can't make a list there. And then by the time I get home, I'm like, okay, I gotta make dinner. I gotta do this assignment. So by the time I get working on things, like I'm like, there's no point in making a list now. I got 2 hours left anyway. I just get kind of swept up into the hustle and bustle of life, and I feel like there's no point to do it now. I'm already halfway through the day.
Okay. So you feel like when it's a fast-paced day, you don't really have time to actually think about, hey, I need to do this. This needs to be done. This needs to be done.
Right. I'm kind of just like swept up into the current, and I'm like, okay, this is how today's going to go. I'm just going to keep doing this. And then when I get home, I'm like, I didn't do anything today. Like, I feel like I should be doing more on top of my job and on top of school. And I feel like I'm never hitting where I want to be. It's like never enough what I get done.
Never enough.
Yeah, like I should be pushing myself. Like, you should be doing more. You should have got all your readings done today. You should have been able to finish your project at work. So it's just kind of that voice saying like, why didn't you do this? Like, you should have been able to do that. You know you can do that. So it's just not seeming like it was enough or I am enough.
It's like your inner thoughts are like yelling at you.
Yeah, like it's a little bully that's always in the back of my head, like trying to push you like in a good way, but it's gotten to the point now where it's just making me exhausted and just I'm just drained every single day from this voice.
Do you feel like sometimes you may push yourself too much?
Yeah, absolutely. When I am driving home crying in traffic because I feel like I didn't get anything done for the day, I feel like you've done plenty, like you shouldn't have to keep pushing yourself. So like I do have those realizations like, no, you are enough, but it doesn't silence that voice in the back of my head.
Mhm. Okay. You don't feel like you do enough, but you feel like you do enough, but there's just that thought that, hey, you didn't do enough today, or you could have done this different, or you could have done that different. It's kind of like your inner thoughts are beating you up.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's just a big bully in the back of my head, like best intentions, like to push yourself, to motivate yourself, but it just gets to the point where like I can't do anymore. Like this needs to be enough because this is all I can literally do. So it's very frustrating, it's exhausting, and then to be constantly pushing yourself all day and then only getting 3 to 4 hours to recuperate, I'm just completely tapped out. Like I don't have anything else. I just want to go to sleep and stay asleep.
When you say stay asleep, can you be a little bit more specific about that?
Um, Literally, like, if I could just like unplug from the world and just like avoid everybody and everything for like 3 days, just to sleep and just disappear, just completely vanish, I feel like I would be so much better. It just, I just want to escape.
You just want to kind of like escape everything that's going around the
Mm.
work and school and everybody like, oh, you're overreacting, you're doing this. So it just seemed like if you're being overcrowded. Does it seem that way?
Yeah, like everything, it feels like everything I do is just on a very careful balancing act. And to be like constantly trying to balance things, it's just, it's like I said, it's exhausting. So I just want to disappear from it all, to be honest.
Well, I do appreciate you sharing your feelings and things with me because it's hard to talk to people or open up to people when you already feel like no one's listening or they're telling you you're overreacting or just not understanding how you're feeling. Have anyone ever tried to understand?
Um, my mom has tried to understand, and like I'll tell her how I feel, but then like it's not that she says like you're just overreacting. She just tries to like explain it away. And I'm like, no, there's like really not an explanation. This is just how I feel. So like at some point, like I just stopped going to her about it because I'm like, I don't want to know how other people would deal with it. I don't want to take another person's point of view. This is just how I'm feeling. And like, I just need you to hear me for a bit.
So you
So
just
she tries, she doesn't understand it.
okay. So you just kind of want someone that's gonna listen, not necessarily give feedback. Just listen and let me express myself without
Yeah,
being judged.
yeah. And that's a bit, I don't want to be judged because I already feel like I'm crazy because I know what this is just ridiculous, but I just need to get it out. Like I'm going crazy because I can't talk about it and I'm just doing it on my own, and then to not be able to confide in anybody, that's what led me here, to hopefully be able to get it out. And maybe you can help me get sleeping again, or maybe you can help me deal with this constant like shortness I feel in my chest.
Well, I definitely think that we can accomplish some goals and create a treatment plan that will help you sleep and just help you deal with the excessive thinking and the thoughts and all of this. How long have you been having this? Like as a child, were you like always like worried, like I gotta get this done, or when did this start? When did you notice it?
um I kind of always have felt like I was on like a balancing act, like ever since childhood. But I've noticed it more and more when I've been taking on more responsibilities. Like when we got our own house, so I'm like, okay, now I gotta take care of the house. When I got my job, when I'm in school, like I'm just like, now that I have all these responsibilities, I find it really hard to balance everything.
And I can see that there's only 24 hours in a day. And when you have work and you're at work so long, and then you have to leave work and, you have your family and then school. So I can see how that should seem like so much on your plate. And it's like, how can I balance everything off and still kind of take care of myself as well?
Yeah. And then I get like mad at myself that you didn't accomplish that much because 24 hours is a really long time. So you're like, well, why couldn't you accomplish that? So it's just, again, it's thinking I'm not enough and just not cutting myself any sort of slack. Like I hold myself to these unreachable standards and like I'm never going to reach it.
Well, I just from what you're telling me, you have a lot going on. I don't see you as you can't reach anything. When you work 8 hours a day and then you have to come, you sit in traffic for 2 or 3 hours, and then you still have to come home and take care of your family, and then you have homework. By the time you finish everything, the day is over.
Hmm. Yeah. And I just find it so frustrating. Like, I know I shouldn't, but I just find it so frustrating. Like, why can't you get more done? Like, it's just that voice again. Like, you can do more. Like, you know you can. You sat on Snapchat for 30 minutes. Why did you spend that time on Snapchat? You could have been reading an assignment. So it's just those constant thoughts. And like, I don't even know like how to describe them. They're just always like this driving force to keep me going. But now like my body's like, no, you need to stop.
So it's more so of your body telling you like, hey, I need some rest, but your mind is like just constantly going.
Yeah, like I'm getting those bags under my eyes. Like I feel like I can never wake up. I'm drinking like 5 cups of coffee a day. I get one on the way to work. I have another one when I get to work. So I can feel my body is like, you shouldn't be drinking all this coffee. You shouldn't be eating all this sugar. But my body's just like, I can't keep going. You need to be able to slow down.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I noticed you use the word frustrated a lot. How does that look for you?
Frustration for me usually shows up as tears. Like I'll cry and like I'll be sitting at a red light and I'm just like bawling and I can see the person next to me like looking at me like, are you okay? But it's just like once everything builds up to a certain point, it just needs to come out some way. And for me, it's usually crying. And I've been noticing I get frustrated at work, so now I'm crying at work, or I'm crying driving home, or like I can literally just cry now at the drop of a hat because I feel so out of control.
And when you cry, do you feel like you are releasing the pain? Does it make you feel any better?
At first, I do. Like when it first happens, I'm like, "Whew, okay, I'm good." But then, like those thoughts start again, and I'm like, "Why am I crying? Like, there's no reason to be crying right now." And then the crying will go on for an hour, and I'm like, "You just cried for an hour about nothing." And then the whole thing keeps going. Like, what could have you been doing in that hour? You could have been doing this. Like, you shouldn't be crying. Just deal with it, move on. So again, it's just not being able to just say, this is enough. You need to have this cry, be able to move on for it, and just accept that, like, yeah, you cried, but it's not the end of the world. So again, frustrating because I can't control when I cry, how I cry.
Okay. I want to circle back with your mom. You said your mom tries to she tries to make things a little better. How
Mm-hmm.
is your relationship with your mom?
Um, it's okay. We're kind of very similar where we're very blunt with our words. So sometimes we say something to each other and we won't talk for a couple days just because we're like, okay, that hit a nerve. But I mean, it's okay. I talk to her every once in a while. Um, I kind of feel like other things take the spotlight more than me because I'm only a phone call. So I mean, it's an okay relationship. We're able to talk and everything, but I don't know. I mean, it's better than the relationships I have with the rest of my family.
Okay. And how are those relationships with the rest of your family, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I don't have a relationship with them. It's the kind of thing where they'll text you happy birthday, they'll text you Merry Christmas, but they don't really know what's going on. And like I've had these issues when I was living at home, and it was the same thing. Like, oh, you're just overreacting. My dad would be like, you're a snowflake. Like, don't let all these little things bother you. You're just being too delicate. So again, it just came to like, okay, and I'm not gonna try anymore. So those relationships have just been cut off, basically.
But doesn't really feel like you have a support system.
Mm, no, I kind of isolated myself to be my own support system, and that support system has begun to crumble.
To crumble.
Yeah, I can feel like that's how I feel like my world is just crumbling. Every day when I see like how much I have to do, it just gets weaker and weaker every day.
It seems like you have a lot on your plate, and with the lack of support system, I can see where you're frustrated and you're always, you cry when you're frustrated because you feel like I'm my own support. I'm
Hmm.
reaching out to everyone, but no one's willing to listen or take things in or just hear me out.
Hmm.
So I can see how that can be frustrating and just overwhelming for you.
Yeah. Overwhelming and frustrating. Those are the two words to describe me right now. And I don't want to be that way. Like, I'm in my 20s. Like, this should be like a good time in my life. I should be having fun, not just worrying about all the things I have to do. Like, I should just be like in the moment. Like, if I want to go get drinks with somebody, I feel like I should be able to and not feel guilty about it when I get home that night. So, I guess just all of it came to a giant mass that I just feel like I can't control anymore. So that's kind of why I reached out to you.
And I'm really glad you reached out to me. I think that we can create something very helpful for you. Um, what type of things do you enjoy?
Mm, I really enjoy drawing. I'm not the best drawer. Um, I used to enjoy drawing more, but more recently when I draw, I'll be like staring at what I drew and I'll just throw it away because I'm like, that's not good enough. Like, look at that line, like it's all wonky. So, like, I do enjoy drawing. I do like getting out in nature and everything. It's just I just seem like I never have the time for it. Like I shouldn't be wasting time just to do frivolous things. Like you have more important things to do.
So, is self care is do you see that as wasteful timing?
Um, if I can integrate self care into something I already have to do, I'm more likely to do it. But if it's something that I literally have to take time out of my day, I'm probably not going to do it. Like I'll take a bath, but I'm like, well, I have to get clean anyway, so I can spend the time doing that. So that's what I consider like self-care. But if I have to take time out of my day, I probably won't do it because I have more important things to do.
So if you take time out of your day to do something that you enjoy, you feel like, oh, you don't need to do that. Or if you do something like that, you feel like, oh, you should have been doing something else more productive.
Hmm. Yes, absolutely. Like, oh, you shouldn't go and draw pictures for an hour. You should read this and get your assignment done on time for once. So, yeah, it's just kind of like self punishing. Like, no, you can't enjoy yourself. You have things to do. Yeah. So, like, I'm trying. I'm hoping this will be a step in the right direction, but I'm tired of punishing myself for my thoughts, and I just want to be able to relax for once.
Well, I think you are on the right track. Like I said before, I really appreciate you sharing these things with me, and I hope me just listening kind of helps out a little bit.
Hmm.
Our session is kind of coming to an end, but I do want to meet with you if you want to meet later on this week or next week, whichever is best for you. I would definitely like to meet again so we can discuss some goals and create a treatment plan that can lead you down the right path to a successful life, to where you can enjoy life and not make yourself feel guilty for engaging in self care or just enjoying life. I noticed you said you're in your 20s, you want to do these things, but your inner thoughts are stopping you because you feel like you can be doing something more important or something more productive. So
Hmm.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you soon and creating these goals and creating this treatment plan to get you going on the right path. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah, yeah. Next week will work better, but yeah, I'll definitely be back.
Okay, well, that sounds like a plan, and I will see you next week. I really enjoyed you, and thank you again for sharing such valuable information.
Thank you.